sister. Welcome to the Happy, Purposeful, and Free podcast, where we are all about going after our dreams, living aligned with our soul's purpose, and playing all out. I'm your guide, Katrina Lelly, life and biz mentor, entrepreneur, mama of four, wife, and big kid at heart. This is where you will get the realest of the real from me and our special guests about living a life with passion, alignment, and what's true for you. We don't do the small talk around here. We are all about being who we are, sharing the tools, tips, all the behind the scenes, and inspiring stories that empower you to boldly pursue your life. I will share all the goods on life, business, and relationships so that you can start living your happy, purposeful, and free. Let's do this thing together. Hey, my beautiful sister. How are you? How are you really? Check in with yourself right now. How are you really? Because I know that when we get asked that question, it's like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. But how are you really? Do that little check-in for yourself right now. Are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you overjoyed? Are you excited? Are you confused? Are you searching? Are you chasing? How are you really? And it's such a funny question, right? Because we're like, okay, do you want to know like right now? Because right now I'm really awesome. Right now I feel pretty fabulous. But like yesterday, I wasn't so fabulous. Yesterday was kind of a shit show, right? So when we get asked that question, it's like, okay, how are you really? And what do you want to know? Like, I'm fabulous. Like, right now I'm fabulous. So I do wonder when someone asks that question, do they want to know how you are like based upon the last 2 weeks, or do they want to know how we are based upon this moment right now? And, you can even ask them that question. You can even ask yourself that question. But I think that this how are you question has gotten so surface, it's just like what we do, right? Rather than using it as a check-in. Which kind of ties into today's episode. Because you want to know. Because you asked me, how do I actually like step into my higher self? You hear about it, but people talk about it, but there's no like how to. And I know you want the how to. I know you want to know like, okay, what do I need to do? Just tell me exactly what I need to do, Katrina, because I can't seem to figure it out. And what I can tell you is it is one of the most beautiful and frustrating processes that you're going to do. Beautiful and frustrating at the same time. And it's going to be filled with joy and tears and sadness and anger and all of the things. And that sounds kind of weird talking about higher self, right? How do I step into my higher self? Because it's a lifelong journey. It's part of that healing work that we do. It's part of that process. But I'm going to give you some how-tos. I'm absolutely going to give you some how-tos, but I think that they're going to not be as tangible as you want them to be. So I want you to understand that it's okay. Stepping into your higher self, she has a form of masculine and feminine energy. She absolutely does. But stepping into her is where we really get to lean more into the feminine. That's the embodiment of who she is. And it takes time and it takes practice. Okay? Practice, which is what we do every day. Everything takes practice of some sort. And so when we step into her, sometimes we fall out of her. And then we step back in, and then we fall out, and we step back in. So we just keep practicing and we keep showing up. The first and most important part of this is to understand that she's not out there. Your higher self is not out there. She is already within you. She is the divine source who is connected to the divine source. She is who you were, who you are when you came to this earth. Your soul within you. And she is all of those things before we grew up, before we piled on all the crap, before we piled on all the I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I can't do this stuff, before we started listening to everyone else about what our truth was. But understand, she is already within you. It's a matter of uncovering her, and you do that through the inner work. I suggest with the coach, but however you do it, that's how you do it. Is with the coach. Is uncovering all of the things that are like hiding her from you. She's there. She's been talking to you. But maybe you haven't understood how to really differentiate what is highest self talking to you versus what, your ego is. And that's okay, because a lot of us do that. Sometimes I still can't even tell, like, okay, I've got to really like check in. And that's where it's good to have people in the space, friends, colleagues, spouses, if they're doing the work, coaches, all of those kinds of things, to also help you kind of check in. They're not your highest self, but they're going to maybe, if they know what they're doing, they're going to ask you some of those questions to peel back the layers. But understand, she's not out there. She's within you. The next thing for you to do is to create space. And what do I mean by create space? Carving out the time, carving out the environment for you to go in and feel as though this is the space that I feel most connected, where this is my time, maybe my little nook in the house or my office or whatever it looks like create the space. And it's not just about time in the environment. It's opening up your heart to this process. Okay, I am ready to hear who she is. I am ready to begin this work. I'm ready to step into and get curious and find out what that is. So create the space. Set your intention every day for the day. Okay, set your intention. An intention is, how do you want to show up? Who do you want to be? What is the kind of day you want to have based upon you, not outside circumstances? But how do you want to show up? Do you want to show up with joy? Do you want to be divinely guided? Do you want to be integral, stepping into your integrity? What are those things that you're going to set intention every morning for your day? Those are your affirmations. Whatever those words are, you're going to turn into your affirmations and use those throughout the day. You can have the same intention all week, all month, all year. It doesn't matter. But set your intention on how you want to show up. Who do you want to be in the world? And trust whatever comes up, because you can always change it later, right? If it no longer is like, okay, I think I've got this going, I don't need this anymore, that's totally fine. But set your intention every morning for your day. Practice surrender. Practice surrender. Know that what you are able to control is you, your choices, your decisions, how you show up. Surrender to the process. Surrender to the knowing that she's got you, God's got you, the universe wants to conspire in your favor, whatever those things are. Know that. Know that. So practicing surrender. Turning it over to God every day. That's what you do when you set your intention. Okay, God, here I am. This is what I want to do. I'm turning this over to you. I'm going to follow your guidance. I'm going to follow her guidance. The next thing that you can do is meditate. Find some higher self meditations. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them, just by Googling higher self meditations. There's other coaches out there and people out there and influencers out there that have meditations for higher self meditations. There's plenty of free ones, so don't go buy anything. And try some different ones on for size. Meditation gets us grounded. It gets us open to hearing the message that she has for you. It gets us present right here in the moment. You can practice breath work if you need a reference for breath work. My coach does breath work. She has a monthly membership. It's completely life-changing and amazing. But you can also go follow her, Dr. Jen Chrisman. But you also can find something free on YouTube as well, as far as breath work. Wim Hof does breath work, those kinds of things. Creating that space, meditating, practicing surrender, setting your intention for the day. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate all of your wins. And this is something I tell my clients to do on a regular basis because we forget to celebrate our wins. Even the smallest things, even like when we do the dishes, go celebrate that crap. Go celebrate it. When you have a great conversation with somebody and you showed up differently than how you thought you might have shown up, go celebrate that. Go celebrate it. The next one is to journal. Create this vision about her. Who is she? How does she want to show up? What does she like? What does she love? Does she dance? What does she feel like? Create that vision of who she is. And I know the first thing you're going to say to me is, well, I don't even know how to. What you do is you go get a journal, you pick up a pen, and you just start writing. I'm curious. I wonder what she does like. I wonder what she looks like. She's a version of you, okay? But does she have long hair? Or is it really short? Or is it colored? Does she have tattoos? What kind of clothes does she wear? But visualize who she is and write it out. Write out that vision for yourself. What does she do? Who's in her life? What are the kinds of things she's doing? And this is just to get you started. The more you get to know her, the more you uncover and do the inner work and uncover all of the things, she's going to reveal herself to you, and your vision can change. And let that be okay. Let that be okay. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. This is where the meditation comes in. This is where breathwork comes in. This is where practicing surrender every day. This is where that journal, like all of the things come into this. That's how you listen to your intuition. So when you come up against something and you need to make a decision, instead of making a decision right away, like tune in, be like, what would my higher self do in this moment? And allow yourself the space, the time to be open to the answer. Most of the time when we make decisions, we make them way before they actually need to be made. Most of the time, decisions don't need to be made within the first 24 hours. Pause on that decision. Is it a life or death situation? No, probably not. Those are the type of decisions, of course, that need to be made right on the spot. But listen to your intuition. Create that space for her to come through and to speak to you. Now, there are so many ways for you to really tap in and find out who your higher self is and how you step into her. And these are just a few. I recommend finding somebody to work with to help you through this process, because that person is going to help you identify between your blocks, between your ego and your higher self. They're going to help you brainstorm ideas onto, what that looks like for you, and accountability for you to actually show up in this process. Because most of us don't want to show up in this process because it is a process. Because we want immediate results right now. And that's not how it works. That's part of what's wrong with today's world. We're so used to getting immediate results. And that's not how life was meant to be designed. That's not how life was meant to be lived. It's about being in the moment. It's about being here right now. You're probably already tapping into her in ways maybe you don't know, especially if you've already started this work. But my recommendation, hire a coach. That's exactly what I help my clients do. And I have one-on-one spots available. And here's where I can feel the resistance coming up. But I don't have the money. I don't know if I can do that. Well, I don't have time for that. You don't know until you ask questions. Are you wanting to really step into the higher self? Are you really wanting to fulfill that deep calling in your heart, that craving for more? Or are you willing to settle for what you have right now? So I hope you found value in this message for you. I felt it was divinely timed, and I'm grateful to you for being here and for showing up for yourself. This is one of those things you're doing to show up for your highest self, to start speaking into her, to start identifying who she is, to start embodying her. Congratulate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Do all of those things. All right, girlfriend. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who has a powerful story and are doing big things, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you helped me get this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way to take 60 seconds, leave me a 5-star review, and share this episode with a girlfriend. Don't forget to tag me on social media, and if that's not your thing, shoot me a DM because I would like to personally thank you for doing so. We are not meant to do this life alone, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Until next time.